Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this truly fascinating blueprint on how you can completely future-proof your career. And we're going to do this by mastering AI automation without writing a single line of code. Look, we're looking at a space that has totally transformed. I mean, it's gone from these basic, clunky data entry scripts to highly intelligent, revenue-generating digital systems that honestly feel a bit like magic. Whether you're a student trying to figure out your next move, an employee who wants to become literally irreplaceable, or an entrepreneur looking to scale up fast, this explainer is going to show you exactly how to navigate this exploding industry. We're trying directly from the ultimate beginner's guide to building and selling these powerful systems. And I promise you, by the end of this, you are going to see just how accessible this technology actually is today. So here is our structured path for today. First, we'll look at the massive AI automation opportunity. Then, the anatomy of an automation. After that, we'll roll up our sleeves for building the lead qualifier. Then, troubleshooting like a pro. And finally, monetizing your AI skills. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the AI automation opportunity. So let's just address the elephant in the room right away. McKinsey predicts that AI and automation could replace up to 50% of current work activities by 2030. Half. That sounds like a whole lot of doom and gloom, doesn't it? And honestly, it's completely natural to hear a staggering statistic like that and start worrying about the future of your career. We are standing at the edge of a massive, fundamental shift in how work actually gets done. A 50% displacement metric, well, that's enough to make absolutely anyone anxious about their relevance in the workforce over the next 5 to 10 years. But there's a really crucial second half to this story that you need to hear. There is a major flip side to all this fear. While the World Economic Forum states that 41% of companies are planning to cut staff due to AI, which, again, sounds scary, look at this. A massive 66% of employers are actively hunting for people with specific AI workflow automation skills. So on one hand, yeah, we see the expectation of layoffs. But on the exact same token, there is an absolute hunger, a desperation really, for AI-literate individuals. Why? Well, because someone who can spot opportunities for automation and actually build those workflows, they can easily output 5 to 10 times more than someone who doesn't. The entrepreneur Neville of Evicant hit the nail on the head. He basically said, if you're worried about jobs, go brush up on your AI. Learn a little bit, tinker with it, and just watch how companies pull you in. AI itself won't necessarily replace you, but a person using AI, they absolutely will for sure. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding what this actually is. AI automation is essentially building digital workers that can think, analyze, and execute tasks completely on demand. Let's make sure we separate this from those old-school automations. For the past decade, you had tools like Zapier doing very basic things like taking an email address from a contact form and just pasting it into a spreadsheet. Helpful, sure, but it was just a little helper following a rigid checklist without doing any actual thinking. But then, the release of generative AI models like ChatGPT, that fundamentally changed the game. Adding these AI models to your automation is like, well, it's like strapping a V12 engine onto a bicycle. Suddenly, these platforms can handle tricky, nuanced stuff that used to absolutely require a human brain. We're talking writing highly customized emails, reading an angry inbound message to determine if a customer wants a refund, or summarizing massive 50-page documents in seconds. You're no longer just moving data from point A to point B, you are deploying human-level intelligence on a tireless, 24/7 assembly line. Okay, moving on to Section 2, Anatomy of an Automation. I want you to think of platforms like Make.com as your command center, where you're snapping these 6 core pieces together just like Lego blocks in a digital factory. First up, you have the trigger. This is your start button or the factory whistle that kicks everything off, like a new email arriving in your inbox. Second is the filter. This acts as your quality control, or kind of like a bouncer at a club, making sure only the right qualified data gets to move forward. Third is the intelligence layer. Now, this is your super smart AI robot right on the assembly line that looks at context and makes actual decisions. Fourth, we have the actions. These are the physical factory stations where the actual work happens, like drafting a message or updating a client list. Fifth is the formatter, which acts like sandpaper. It trims and formats the data so it fits perfectly into the next step. And finally, step 6, the output. This is your perfectly finished, packaged product delivered exactly where it needs to go. Understanding how these 6 specific pieces fit together is the absolute key to building literally any system you can dream up. All right, now that we know the anatomy, let's jump into Section 3, Building the Lead Qualifier. Let's step out onto the factory floor and build something real. In our first level, we're establishing the foundation. instantly filtering unqualified leads without a single human ever needing to manually review them. Here is how it flows. A potential lead fills out a tally form on your website. That data instantly drops into Airtable, which, if you don't know, acts just like a really fancy, powerful spreadsheet. But here is where the magic happens. Instead of a human manually reading that new row, Airtable's built-in AI assistant looks at the lead's budget. We simply prompt it to check, hey, is this budget $10,000 or more? If it is, the AI instantly marks the lead as qualified. Then, our command center, Make.com, which is constantly watching Airtable, sees this and instantly routes that qualified lead in two directions at the exact same time. It triggers Gmail to send the client a Calendly booking link, and it fires off a Slack notification to alert the sales team. Boom. All of this happens in literal seconds, saving your team hours and hours of repetitive, mind-numbing data entry. Okay, level 2. We're escalating this by adding a Vapi outbound voice agent. Yes, we are now sending an AI to literally call the lead on the phone. Look, web forms are great, but they're limited, right? If you ask for way too much info on a form, people just won't fill it out. So we keep the form lean and we let the voice agent do the heavy lifting for deep qualification. Once that lead is marked qualified in Airtable, Make.com triggers Vapi. Vapi is kind of like Siri, but specifically tailored for incredibly natural phone conversations. We program it with a distinct identity, a tone of voice, and a highly structured script to introduce our agency, ask about their business bottlenecks, and ultimately ask if they would like us to send over a custom proposal. We even inject realistic background noise into the call so it feels completely natural to the person listening. Once the call is initiated, our Make.com workflow literally just pauses itself for 5 minutes to let the actual conversation happen in real time. Then, Vapi's AI evaluates its own call transcript to see if the lead wanted a proposal or not. No more making awkward cold calls yourself. Just let the robot do the sweating. It evaluates the outcome as a simple true or false pass-fail, which we then route right back to update the lead's profile in Airtable. Now, you might be wondering, how do we actually get that call data back? We use an API. And look, I know API sounds like super intimidating developer jargon, but let's demystify this right now. Think of an API as just a structured order form that your factory uses to ask an outside vendor for results. A real-world factory doesn't do absolutely everything in-house, right? Sometimes they have to order specific parts from a supplier, and they don't just lean over the fence and shout their order. They use an official, structured form. In the digital world, an API is just that structured order form. When we want the call summary from Vapi, Make.com sends a request, we securely pass our authorization key to Vapi, and it just hands us back the call summary and that success evaluation. It's really just two digital systems shaking hands and passing a clipboard back and forth, which we then seamlessly drop into our Airtable database. Simple as that. All right, level 3, this is our final and most complex level, and this is where the system gets incredibly intelligent. Before Vapi even makes that phone call we just talked about, we insert a step where OpenAI takes the lead's company name and actually searches the live web. It generates a summary of exactly what that company does and how our specific services can help them. Then we feed all this web research straight into the Vapi agent. So when the AI calls, it doesn't just say a generic hello. It greets the lead by name and references their specific business challenges. It's a highly personalized phone pitch. And if the lead says yes to a proposal, we take that call summary plus the web research and ask OpenAI to draft a highly customized execution plan. The system instantly formats all that data and injects it perfectly into the blank spaces of a PandaDoc business template. So a beautifully tailored, highly specific business proposal is generated out of thin air and instantly emailed to the lead for their digital signature. You have literally just fully automated a highly personalized white glove sales cycle. It's wild. Okay, let's transition into section 4, troubleshooting like a pro. Because you're building these intricate systems, you will inevitably run into errors. You're gonna break things. And the crucial point here is you have to embrace the struggle. Encountering an error isn't a failure. It is the exact moment where the most valuable learning actually happens. Look, it's a complete misconception that successful developers just type perfectly and never encounter bugs. The reality, even seasoned pros spend a huge chunk of their time just troubleshooting. If you are spoon-fed every single solution, you'll only ever know how to copy existing systems. But by wrestling with a broken module, by banging your head against the wall a little bit, you're building your problem-solving muscle. It will definitely feel uncomfortable at first, for sure. But that feeling of being completely out of your depth, that simply means you are expanding your capabilities. You're growing. So when you inevitably get stuck, you need to use this troubleshooting toolkit. First, lean heavily on AI, like ChatGPT, but, and this is important, you must provide deep context. Don't just type "it's broken." Tell it what you are building, the specific step you're stuck on, what the expected outcome is, and paste the exact error code. You can even use the new deep research modes for really complex platform issues. Second, utilize your communities. Chances are someone else has already hit the exact same brick wall you just did. Search Discord servers, dig through forums, and look for recent YouTube visual guides. Third, take advantage of incredible tools like Google AI Studio. It can actually watch your screen in real time and point out a missing comma, literally saving you from staring at your monitor in complete frustration for 3 hours. And finally, please learn to read the platform documentation carefully. It's a critical skill that will absolutely never let you down. And finally, let's explore Section 5, monetizing your AI skills. This right here brilliantly illustrates the true key to monetization, the knowledge gap. Listen to me, you do not need to be a Silicon Valley engineer. You don't need to build the next ChatGPT. Small businesses, which by the way creates 62% of jobs in the US, they are absolutely desperate for AI automation, but they have zero time to figure it out themselves. All the major consulting firms, they're totally focused on massive Fortune 500 corporations. That leaves the small business market completely starving for help. Right now, for every single person offering AI services, there are over 1,100 businesses that need them. 1,100. You will be paid in direct proportion to your knowledge gap. You really just need to be one single step ahead of the business owner you're assisting to provide immense, highly monetizable value. So here is your literal blueprint to start selling these skills. You essentially have 3 distinct service lanes you can operate in. First up is education. If you just have foundational knowledge, meaning you simply understand what AI is and what it can theoretically do, you can run workshops and train teams. They just need someone to demystify the tech jargon for them. Second is consulting. With an intermediate grasp, you can look at a business's daily operations and point out exactly where an AI workflow, like that awesome lead qualifier we just walked through, could save them thousands of hours. You are acting as their high-level strategist. Third is implementation. Now, this requires advanced technical skill. This is where you actually get your hands dirty, jump into Make.com and build the custom workflows and voice agents for them. The beautiful thing is, you can start with education and consulting today, right now, and naturally progress to full implementation as your technical muscle grows. The tools we've talked about today are insanely accessible. The digital factory is open for business, and the barrier to entry has literally never been lower. Plus, the market is completely starving for these specific services. So the only question left for you is, how will you leverage your own knowledge gap to secure your place in this massive AI revolution?